Nigeria, by extension Africa, battles a growing youthful population and with little or no meaningful engagement leaves a ticking time bomb on our hands. We are a blessed continent with great wealth, both in people and material. Our focus on ways remains driving conversations that affects us all. Topics in the news, social concerns, politics, leadership, governance, empowerment, resource management, conflict management, finance, SME sustainability, technological innovation, food security, health, education, brain drain, our well-being, citizenship, and much more. Our goal is to continuously drive these conversations, keep them burning at the table to effect a positive change, both for our nation and continent. Ways, what are you saying, has a secret ingredient that completes the conversation every single episode, and that ingredient is you. Our past conversations shaped our yesterday. To shape our tomorrow, we must keep talking. So, I want to hear you. Be a part of our live conversations Mondays through Fridays. And let's all have our say. The relevance of women in politics in Nigeria is a pressing concern that has gained significant attention in recent years. The underrepresentation of women in elective and appointive positions is a growing concern, with various challenges hindering their active participation in politics. Now, these challenges include discriminatory, social-economical, social-cultural rather, religious practices, lack of finance, and an unhealthy patriarchal political environment. As we explore the relevance of women in politics in Nigeria today, we'll delve into these challenges and, of course, try to attempt to find measures that can be taken to address them. It's another beautiful episode on your favorite primetime show, Ways. My name remains Osayiwa Mesale, and tonight, I want to ask how relevant are women in politics of today, right, in Nigeria? And of course, I have my guest that will be joining me, Mr. Liborous Oshoma, GCFR. He'll be joining me to have this conversation. Now, remember, Ways is all about you. You are the why in Ways, so be a part of the conversation every single day. Add your voice to the discussion. You can also head on to our YouTube channel. It's at Official Upgrade TV. Hit that subscribe button, like, share, and invite your families and friends to join the conversation right now. So when I open the phone lines, I'd really love to hear your thoughts on this. As always, let me allow you ponder on my quote for the day. It says, in societies where men are truly confident of their own worth, women are not merely tolerated, but valued. I think I'll just leave that quote there. So let me run off on a break. We'll delve into some of these conversations much later. When I come back from the break, I want to touch on my news interest for the day. Stay with me. All right, so because the show today is a lot of politics, and I have my Oga here joining me, I want to bring him in to help me dissect what is going on. Thank you so much, Liborous, for joining me this evening.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Liborous, what is going on in Rivers State, right? There've just been a lot of back and forth. The president finally spoke on the issue, but only for us to see news flying all over social media that Fubara was denied entry into the State House of Assembly. Can you please help me understand what is going on? I understand, of course, the Supreme Court judgment will stand, but what are all of these issues and what are the legal implications of some of these actions that we're seeing just flying back and forth? I mean, Wike also gave a press statement. Fubara also made his own statement. What can you make of all of this that is going on in Rivers State?
Yeah, first and foremost, I like the attempt by Fubara to, eventually make peace following the Supreme Court's judgment. But at the same time, I also want to understand the position of the 27 lawmakers, that there are channels of communication, and social media is not one of such channels. The question you will now ask is, where is the House of Assembly? So, where is the House of Assembly? The House of Assembly, we all know, was demolished when, by virtue of the Supreme Court now, it is safe to say, that was demolished by the governor, where there were perception from his quarters that he was going to be impeached. And so the House of Assembly, the place meant for the business of the House of Assembly is no longer in existence. So part of the meeting that was supposed to be held between the governor and the State House of Assembly members was to find a suitable way for them where to meet, where they would meet. So I also think if you are going to discuss a suitable venue for meeting, then the question will now be, where were you going to meet with them to present budgets?
Yeah.
If you have not found a suitable place of meeting. So where were you going to present the budgets? So I learned that was the quarters of the members of the House of Assembly. That was the quarters of the members, and so residential quarters. And so if that's the residential quarters, you have 32 lawmakers. I think one died. Then one is the chief of staff to the governor now, Edison here. And then you have Jumbo, who was the governor's speaker, and two other members, who I believe are still residents in that quarters. So why didn't they open the gates of the quarters for the governor? So out of 30, you had 3 who are still on the side of the governor. So and I am also aware, and I'm sure that they reside in that quarters. So why didn't they open the gate for the governor? So was it supposed to be a photo ops for us? Oh, we are here. Oh, this gate is locked. So we addressed the press that we came here to present budget, and the gate is locked. The communication that was it sent officially? The governor said he tried to reach them through various means. I also want to believe that there should be, official channel of communication. Apart from the fact that these people all have each other's phone numbers, there should be an official channel of communication. Does the House have a clerk? Who is the clerk of the House? Who receives letters? Does the House have staff? Who are the staff of the House of Assembly? Who should receive such official communication? Does this House have members, people who work for them, who should first and foremost receive the governor before he's ushered into the hallowed chamber? Where is that hallowed chamber? So when I saw all of those things, I laughed. I just said that these people have started again. The governor of Rivers State, Port Harcourt, versus the governor of Rivers State FCT. So you have, so it's a drama that is unending.
But you see, sorry, Liborous, for cutting you. Whilst this drama is happening, what is happening to governance in the state, and what is happening to the things that are supposed to be done? Like you rightly said, in fact, when you were talking now, I was saying even in the estate, which of the houses did they finally pick that will be the final house in the 30 lawmakers that is where they are going to go and present the budget? Do you understand? It doesn't make any logical sense. But do you see a way out in all of this? Because now governance in that state right now is suffering, right? Because there's no how, if allocations have been stopped, how would the governor, govern the state? So how do we find a way forward for this matter? Because Wike now is somewhere in Abuja granting interviews, excited about all the things that is going on and saying that, well, it is what he has, whatever he has played, he will have to live by it. And I mean, there are talks around impeachment going on, that it is almost looking like it is, in quotes, inevitable. So what is going on with governance, and how do we move forward?
Yeah, I think, we know that all of this was going to happen. I had warned previously when this problem started that the person that has a lot to lose is the governor, so he should be very tactical. Even though at the beginning he wasn't tactical, but I also think now he shouldn't allow himself to make mistakes. There shouldn't be any room for mistakes now. When he issued the letter that he was going to obey the judgment, I said kudos to him. But even though he doesn't have a choice in the matter. Then secondly, when he also now called for a meeting with members, I also, eulogized him to say, yes, this is the way to go. But when the members now said, look, communicate to us officially, not through social media. Stop issuing letters and posting them on social media. I expected also that they should have used their back channel or, the other media mode of communication to,
But I heard that
communicate.
letter was sent to that quarters now, like a physical letter was sent. Are they trying to
Did
say
you
that
see
there
an
was no physical letter? Huh?
Did you see an acknowledgement copy of the letter? What I saw online does not have an acknowledged copy. Nobody received that letter. So we just saw letters flying online. And for example, like a governor would not just leave his office and say, I'm going to present budget to members that have not acknowledged your letter, that have said communicate to us using official channels. If there is no clerk of the house, certainly a clerk, will be appointed by the speaker. Now, I think the first thing they should do, really, is to find a middle ground. Take the first step, hold a peace parley. How do we sit down? And if they want to, since there's the only president that can, excuse me.
Sorry.
Since the president that can always summon them, I think they might have to go back to Mr. President, the governor and the 27, 30 lawmakers, maybe with the other governor FCT. So they will meet and then agree. And then the governor can submit proposals since we have reduced, that governance in Port Harcourt to, every attempt going to see the president. If they can't find a way to actually meet. Because I think it is easier if you truly, want to meet with these people. It is much more easier. The first thing would be find a suitable venue for meeting that we have agreed by all parties, all members. And then the staff of the State House of Assembly also will come back to work in these places, especially at no offices for those staff, or if it is just the chambers that was demolished. So when you do that, then that place would have been recognized as an official place. But then another thing is, the members had met, when they issued a directive to the State Electoral Commission chairman. They had a meeting. They also, received 3 commissioners from the State Electoral Body who they queried over resources. In that meeting, I think the meeting was held somewhere in that quarters. So it is against that backdrop also that the governor had gone to meet with them in that quarters, where they have been meeting before now. But I think, knowing fully well that these people are looking for your head, they want your back on the ground fully. You also have to be very tactical to ensure that all correspondences, meet up with the required protocol, for meeting. Otherwise, it will be seen as photo ops. And that's which is what they are, basically saying now. Because here, like I say, he's the one that has all to lose, considering the judgment of the Supreme Court.
So Liborous, so finally, your final thought, what's the worst case scenario in this situation? If Fubara is impeached, do you see any bloodbath like, the youth have been threatening in the state? Or do you see what Wike said, that nothing will happen coming to pass?
See, let me tell you, I doubt if it will get to the level of impeaching Fubara. Because the tension is heightened. I doubt if they will be able to pull that through. Mind you, I have always said it, all organs of government would, by virtue of Section 188, all the arms of government must participate before a governor can be impeached. But that said, it is always very easy for Nigerians to shout, oh, if this happened, the heavens will fall. You'll be shocked that Nigerians will just simply realign. Once there's a new cook in the kitchen, a few persons will cry, shout here and there, and that new coup will come out and say, for the interest of Rivers State, let's move on again. Some persons will be compromised. Money will be shared around again, and they know how they have been playing their politics consistently. So all those ones saying bloodbath, all those ones saying nothing will happen. It is the innocent people that will die. In fact, all the same people that have been detecting what happens are the same people that will keep, detecting. So that's why I think that both parties, both the 27 lawmakers, now you can say that, okay, they have let's assume that they didn't communicate with you, officially, but you are aware that there is a notice from the governor that you had seen on social media. Extend a call to him, propose a meeting at a neutral place. It may be in Abuja if you don't trust. Propose a meeting at a neutral place for the sake of the peace and progress of the state. Because as lawmakers also, you have a stake. Don't make it difficult for
peace,
for the
for the resolution,
Yes, don't make it difficult for peace. But otherwise, even those that are supporting you now would turn their back that you actually, just the same way they blame the governor, it gets to a point, depending on how much olive branch the governor extended and that they rebut. It gets to that point and people like, no, the governor had tried. He has bent backward. And so it is the lawmaker that do not want peace. So they shouldn't allow it get to that level. Now, the letters have been issued extending olive branch. Whether it's official communication or not, there are no processes. If there are no procedures for reaching you officially, how do you expect him to reach you? So all of these are the issues that both parties should consider and then, shift ground for the sake, for the peace and the tranquility of the state. Otherwise, Rivers State being an oil-producing state, for me, is just like a glorified village. You can't compare Rivers State, for example, even though they are richer in terms of derivation, but you can't compare them with some states like Lagos.
Absolutely. All right, so let's take a break, right? When we come back from that break, let's discuss the main conversation for today, women representation in politics, right? Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Life is made up of moments, some that fill us with joy, others that test our strength. Welcome to Heartlines. This is our space to explore the highs and lows of human connection, the love, the heartbreak, and resilience that shapes our life. From relationships to friendships, parenting to partnerships, and so much more. Every week, we share stories and conversations that define us, navigating love, separations, the struggles of parenting, dealing with anxiety and managing the pressures and stress of life. Real conversations that bring us closer, helping us heal, grow, and connect. So join me Mondays through Fridays at 10 p.m. for Heartlines, the show where we'll connect hearts, have real conversations with real people, one story at a time.
Hi, thanks for staying tuned. Now, women's representation in Nigerian politics is alarmingly low. In the Senate, women occupy only less than 3% of the seat, while the House of Representatives, they hold a mere 4%. This underrepresentation exists despite women making up almost half of Nigeria's total population. Looking at the numbers, of course, from the 2023 elections, women made up only 10% of over 15,000 candidates representing 18 political parties at the federal level. And also women accounted for about 9% of all candidates, while at the state level, they constituted 11% of candidates running for governor and state houses of assembly. Despite Nigeria's commitment to 30% affirmative action declaration, women's participation in politics remains low, with only 4 out of 109 senators and 17 out of 360 House of Rep members being women. Women in Nigerian politics face significant challenges, including discriminatory sociocultural and religious practices, limited access to finance, and an unhealthy political environment, as I'd mentioned earlier. Women also drive Nigeria's informal sector. So apart from politics, economically, 41% of micro, small, and medium enterprises are women, but they still face, you know, a huge barrier when it comes to access to finance and markets. Nigeria also has made progress increasing access to education for girls and promoting women participation in politics with initiatives such as her seat in parliament and governance campaigns aiming to increase women representation in governance. But all of this, I don't think, you know, there's any headway, you know, because it's not achieving true gender equality and, you know, and helping more women to be elected at the seats of offices, right? So joining me to unpack, you know, some of these issues and the core of why we're even having this conversation is what is currently happening in the Senate with Senator Natasha Akpoti, where she also went to the UN to, you know, to state her case. And they have also said that they would wait to hear the part of Senator Godswill Akpabio before, you know, taking any decision and all of that. So Liborous again is here. Thank you so much for staying with me, boss. All right, so
Yeah.
you see this matter, eh? I don't even know where to start from. In my own small mind, please help me, because you know I'm not a lawyer now. Nasabi be big English. In my small mind is that there is a problem, right? Somebody has accused somebody of something. And when there's an accusation, what is the rightful thing to do? Both parties, or you come before a committee, right, and let us investigate the issues. You state your case, then whatever it is, based on the findings, a judgment is passed, right? That is in my small thinking. But how this issue has gone has just completely, you know, sparked a different kind of conversation, which is why we're even having this conversation. Are women even relevant in political offices, right? Like, are they even relevant? Because it seems like they have moved away from the core issues. They have made everything now about a gender thing, because it keeps banging in my head. If Natasha were a man, would Akpabio's approach be different? Because I hear that, I saw a video where Akpabio himself too had that same altercation with Senate President, what's his name, Saraki, and it was not the same, right?
No,
Secondly,
no, they are the same thing. They
no,
are the same issues.
no,
They are
I'm saying the same issue. It's same issue,
No,
but I'm saying that the approach was completely different. He was.
It's the same approach.
Okay,
It is
go
the
ahead.
same approach. Let me clarify it here. There are two issues here. Like you said, one would have expected that, you know, allegation of, there are two issues, that's what I said. So let's take the first one. The first one was an allegation of unruly behavior, bringing the Senate to disrepute. That has nothing to do with, it wasn't Akpabio and Natasha, it was the Senate and Natasha. I don't know if I'm clear.
Yes, go ahead.
So on the 20th of January, when her seat was changed, most senators some will just move, some will, you know, throw tantrums. But at the end of the day, they end up apologizing to the Senate. In Akpabio's case also with Saraki, he threw tantrums, and at the end of the day, he came back. On that same day, immediately, he apologized to his colleagues and the Senate president. That ended the matter. That ended the matter of whether disciplinary action will be taken against him for his unruly conduct and behavior on the floor of the Senate. The moment your seat is moved, you can throw tantrums, you can, you know, but if at the end of the day, you now decide, okay, apologize to your colleagues, laugh over it, and that will end that matter. Every other subsequent allegation that you have, you can raise those allegations and then it will be tabled. So in this instance, there are two matters. One was the movement of seats, which led to that altercation and the shouting that happened on the floor of the Senate on the 20th. On that day, the issue of sexual harassment was not raised.
Yes.
It wasn't raised. It was mentioned. And so, the issue of sexual harassment was raised on TV.
Absolutely.
So
on an interview, yes.
It was on an interview on TV. And so, at that point, people felt, look, if there is this allegation, there are proper channels. The Senate wouldn't have touched that matter if a petition was not presented properly. They won't debate it. Now that the petition has been presented and is being referred to the ethics committee, the ethics committee will call both parties to come make presentation. After that presentation, the ethics committee will now make a recommendation to the General House. On the day that matter is to be discussed, that day, Akpabio will not sit as the presiding officer. I don't know if I'm clear.
Yes, I'm listening.
That day, Akpabio will not sit as a presiding officer because he can't be a judge in his own cause. But for the other matter that has to do with unruly behavior on the floor of the Senate, Akpabio being the presiding officer, it is his responsibility to sit on such matters. And that's why I said there are two issues, so that we don't obfuscate them.
So we don't mix them up. And the suspension was based on the unruly behavior, you know, that came from the seat switch, right?
Yes, yes. The suspension, even though unwarranted, because by their rule, by their own rule, they ought not to have suspended beyond 14 days. But they have taken that suspension despite the court pronouncement that they lack the power to so do. Because we're in an environment where we have this mentality of, do you know who I am? Don't go to court. We say, when you say, because we tell you to go to court because we know that the windmill of justice here grinds slowly, even though we say surely. But we forget that justice delayed is justice denied. So if I were Natasha's lawyer, for example, what I would have done would have been, immediately that matter happened, I will ask her, go back, to clear the first hurdle, go back and apologize. To your colleagues. Apologize to your colleagues. Then let us now prepare, gather our proof of evidence against the other matter, so that people will not say you are mixing them up. So also, you will have a voice to present your case in the Senate when eventually it comes up. So they won't shut the door against you. Because if you refuse to apologize, they will shut the door against you for unruly behavior. And then, once they shut the door against you for unruly behavior, your petition for sexual harassment will be kept in abeyance until you come back to come and present your case before they can now call on the next party. And when you go to court on such matters, the court asks Senate to come show cause. The court won't grant you an injunction immediately. They will ask Senate to come and show cause why an injunction should not be granted. The moment you ask Senate to come and show cause, typical of our institution, they will immediately take the action, complete it. It's like a landlord who wants to quit you from your house. You don't rush to court. The court said, okay, go and serve the landlord to come and show cause. The landlord said, okay, before the court, the next adjourned date, I'll make sure I put all your load outside. And then the landlord will say, well, I don't quit him already. The action has been completed. So you can no longer restrain me from quitting him. So it was on that note that the issues ought to have been taken, separately. Yeah. And also, the issue of sexual harassment is a grave offense. It's a civil wrong and a criminal matter. There is no matter in court. I've not heard that she had sued him, in a civil court to say, this man attempted or sexually harassed me, and so I am seeking damages from him to the tune of so and so and so and so and so, and it has cost me my reputational damage and all of those things. That way, you bring your case, the other man will bring his case, and then the matter will be heard. So that is another way you can pursue your grievance. Otherwise, except we just want to do media entertainment, and then people will discuss it. Which leads me to this issue of women in politics in Nigeria. We tend to isolate the issue of women in politics without discussing the cultural, traditional, and root cause of women involvement in our daily lives. As a young girl growing up, the highest prayer your parents prays for you is go to university, finish, make
So you can
marry. Yes.
Say it again.
And so, I'm telling you, you can marry. Even your colleagues, when you go marry, nobody puts pressure on men like that when you go marry. So that cultural thing is on your head. And so there's this perception that a woman is not supposed to aspire beyond a particular point without marrying. So we tell you how you can juggle the two, you can combine the two. A woman should build a home. A woman should be this. And so there's that pressure, that societal pressure on the woman to go and marry. Don't aspire beyond this certain point. Some persons, if a woman is too
ambitious,
ambitious, they will say, this one, are you sure you can control this one? So that means, what it means is that a woman should be controlled.
And
so
Liborous, culturally, because what I am seeing plain. Okay, go ahead.
Sorry, quickly. I'm driving somewhere. So it applies to not just politics, but our daily lives, both in law, judiciary, in banking, in medicine, in our national life. Until some persons now decide to break the norm and break the ceiling and say, no, you can get there. And so that will encourage some other persons who had that courage to say, if this woman can do it, I also can do it. Then you see 2 gets there, 3 gets there, 4 gets there. Gradually, those that have gotten there now begin to say, you know what, let us pull others up. There were times in this country where training a girl child was seen not useful. You go train and finish, another man head for another man's house. There are still places in this country, if you give birth to a female child, they will think that you have lost your inheritance. So, and then, finally on this, we objectify women. A man wants to sell a product, he will use a naked woman to advertise it. You now begin to ask yourself, what's the relationship between nakedness, a naked woman, and this product? So we objectify this thing. And then the mindset that we have now, where some people believe that once you're a woman, you can get whatever you want. And then once you grow with that mindset, and then also some men believe that as a woman, you need to give something to get something. So against that cultural and traditional societal, living, it puts pressure on women, irrespective of whether you're in politics, or whether you are in business, or whether you are in a civil service, and all of that. So that is how we got to, where we are, where, everybody believes that, even some women, when they see you, becoming, too, when you aspire too much, they want to drag you down to say, take them easy now. Wait.
Say you be woman.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Say you be woman. As if a woman is not a human being who should aspire there. So these are the challenges, the societal challenges that we have that also now dovetail into politics. Otherwise, we have seen women who become deputy governor, and people didn't relate with them because they are women, but they related with them on the basis of the performance of their office.
Absolutely.
Sarah Shosan was a deputy governor in Lagos State here. Until date, she's one of the deputy governor that people still, remember her deeds. I've known you right from TVC.
Yeah.
And today, we are here. Do you know that there are some people who will feel, what is we are looking for, sir? What we are looking for. Go and take care of your home. Go and do this. So that mindset, we need to begin to attack that mindset and create a reorientation. Treat everybody like human beings. That any human being should be given an opportunity to aspire to any level they can aspire to. And then, once we all have that mindset, this idea of whether in politics or in banking or in law or any field will no longer be there.
Absolutely.
You will see, the merit and the qualification that, yes, this person outperformed. Those days also, the ladies are, meant to stay in separate places. But we've seen where ladies will break the ceiling in class and floor all the men. What the picture it paints is that, look, it is not just the brain that is given to women is given to men.
Absolutely. I think
use
our
your own
brain
very
self,
well.
our brain, if like say hi small, let me not start a war. You know what? Let me take a break.
No. You can have women who are genius.
Absolutely.
And in the midst of men who know.
I see the women that built NASA. Not the
men.
women build them. I mean, we have very strong brain. I said NASA. Let's take a break. When we come back from that break, I'll continue the conversation with Liborous. I will also open the phone lines. Please stay with us. All right, thanks for staying tuned. Now, if you just tuned in, the question is, how relevant are women in politics, of course, in Nigeria today? Now, please, let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-8038-4663. Our phone lines are also now open. The numbers to call are 07025007749 or 07014242420. Thank you so much, Liborous, for how you have helped to just encapsulate the entire problem, you understand, beyond just the topic around politics. It is the fact that women are not allowed to dream, women are not allowed to be ambitious, women are just, just be there in Nigeria. So that is what we are seeing. And it's so unfortunate that, when I was looking at the Senate, for instance, what I was seeing, right, was more of the, that social-cultural norm or mindset play out. The same thing that happened with Obasa and Miranda. I was saying that if Miranda was a man, Obasa not go try that stunt where he pull, because he would have been...
No, that's not true. That's not true. In Lagos State, no.
No, let me explain. Let me explain to you what I mean. Because you know that there's a soft power that a woman possesses, right? But you see, with men, you can't tell where that man will come from. I'm sure that his own strategy would have been completely different. That's what I think.
The hands that were directing the drama in Lagos were stronger than both Obasa and Miranda.
Miranda, yes.
Yes, so it has nothing to do with the fact that Miranda is a woman or is a man. It's about power control. The powers in Abuja feels that if you have a house that is in tandem, that is in agreement with the executive in Lagos, it means that you have removed Abuja's hand from Lagos. So they would always want a house that will be a loggerhead with the executive. So once you have that situation, the house that will be loyal to Abuja, while the executive will be on their own. So that's why you notice even Desmond Elliott, shed tears. It was like that. The tears for me was not shedding of tears from Miranda. It was like, look at how they have reduced us to mere errand boys, that we couldn't even stand our ground. After grandstanding that, yes, this is where we want to go. They just called us, packed us, and said,
Wait. But Desmond Elliott did not know that he was a rubber stamp before. Is it that he's trying to deceive himself?
Exactly. That's what we are saying. In politics in Nigeria, when people they tell you come and go, you certainly, we end up in that light. And that's also what is happening, for example, in the North culturally, where a woman is, in some cases, when a woman is even not supposed to go to school, just, childbearing should be your responsibility, So until that mindset change, where a man will sit down, marry four, keep them in different houses, and, you should cater for them, don't even allow them to do anything. So when you have such a society, how do you now expect such women to aspire beyond the level that they have been told that they can't go beyond?
Or the men to even respect a woman that is even trying to make... Yes.
Yeah. The man should respect the woman, that this woman should have a right beyond that. And then also upbringing also matters a lot in this part of the world, where the man is always believed to be the head, behave like the head. Even when you have an older sister, you see your mother deferring to your brother, your younger brother, because he's a boy. You know, so I'm not talking about your father now, your mother telling you, oh, please talk to him, he's a man. You know, tomorrow now you go marry, live here. You will be the one to carry the family name. But so you see some daughters also say, no, I will not, you know, take off my father's name. I won't change my identity for a man. Whoever brought that idea that once you get married, change your father's name, I do not know. But it is the world we were born into. And until we begin to change all of those mentalities,
but okay, so Liborous, if we have decided not to change the mentality, how can quota system help us? Do you understand?
It can't help you. It can't help you.
No, but if there is a law, for instance, that is put in place.
Who will enforce the quota system? Who is going to enforce it? The man, have you ever seen somebody deprive himself of a position because he wants to empower you? Nobody will do it. So we need to change. It's a mindset thing. You don't just bring a quota system, you make a law. Our problem in Nigeria is not lack of laws, but the willpower to implement these laws. So you say, you know, 25% should be reserved for women. And then they will tell you, somebody will even open his mouth and tell you, where are the women? You know, because they intentionally ensure that the women don't even get there. And the game of politics, let's be fair to ourselves. The game of politics, the way it is played in Nigeria, it makes it even more difficult. You have to go above and beyond to be able to meet up. You have to not subscribe to the norms to be able to meet up. Do you know that, for example,
sorry, Liborous, let me quickly take a caller, then I'll come back to you. Please don't lose your thought. Pastor Ladipo, I believe. Good evening.
Good evening, my dear sister.
Well, thank you.
Good evening to your guest.
Go ahead, please.
Thank you.
My take is this on this issue. You see, when you talk about relevance of women in politics in Nigeria, it's not even women alone. I also noticed that Nigerians, especially those in authority, they don't have regard and respect for anybody they considered not in their league, especially women. So everything is designed to work against them. Look at the time they hold their meetings, especially the political meetings. It is always held at the middle of the night. So they make us to believe that every responsible woman should be in the husband's house at that odd hour. So the few women that are breaking the ceiling to join them, they are still looking for means to oppress and suppress them.
Thank you.
If we have a system, sorry, quickly, lastly, if we have a system that is designed in order to make people accountable, at least, not only when they say steal, at least when they misuse power, things will be done properly.
Thank you, Pastor Ladipo. Liborous, you wanted to react to that?
Yes, see, sometimes if I want to write a brief, I write at night. So I write well at night.
I'm very nocturnal. I work best at 4 a.m., 2 a.m.
Okay. So sometimes I sleep early and I wake up 4 a.m., 4:30 to work. So in the same vein, there are certain professions. As a young lawyer those days, my boss, after court, he goes home to rest. He will resume by 4, 5 and work till 11. So if you work with such a man, you say, oh, it makes it difficult for you not to practice law. There are certain professions and there are, you know, modalities for working in such an environment. If you join politics, for example, in politics, they go to work in the afternoon and then they hold meetings at night to strategize for the next day. So if you want to join them, you can't say, oh, let us do the meetings in the afternoon, because in the afternoon, everybody's working. So in the night, you will have to ensure that you make sacrifices at those times. I once represented a lady. I handled a divorce matter where the lady, because she joined National Union of Teachers, she was a teacher, and then she entered the politics of the union. And she started having problems with the husband. because it is after work that they go for meetings. You will have to, because you first and foremost have to be a teacher to join the union. So after the normal regular work, they now go for meetings in the evening, which sometimes can dovetail into late at night. And then the man started accusing the wife, you are sleeping around. That is why you are coming. Forgetting that the nature of the job that she's doing at that time demands that she would create time for all of those things. So it is not because they hold meetings at night, because there are some work that you would do. Okay, we don't do shift here. There are people who, I have friends and
abroad, of course, they work at night.
who work shifts.
Absolutely.
In fact, they are all night working. So it isn't material when the meetings are held.
Okay.
It is the respect for the individuals that
matters.
Okay.
About. Let me take
not when meetings are held.
Let me take Loma from Abia State. Thank you for calling, Loma. Good evening.
Good evening, my dear sister.
Good evening, Loma.
God will bless you, Bless Plus TV, all of you, for bringing my pet to the studio.
Thank you.
The man always stand by the truth. I always like listening to him. So, but I want to just tell us, based on the topic, how relevant are women in politics? Women are very, very relevant in politics. Without the women, just like in a marriage, without a woman in your marriage, you loving your wife and your wife loving you, the marriage cannot be complete. In Nigeria, without the women playing active role in politics, I'm telling you, Nigeria will be going down drain. I'm telling you. So I want to use this opportunity to tell people, women are very, very relevant. But in being relevant, you must be very circumspect in the way you behave among men.
Yeah.
I don't say that men should insult the women, but from the creation, God first made man. Before, he now brought woman by his side as his helpmate. So when you start measuring yourself with a man, I'm telling you, you're going down there. So, but look at what's happening in the finish. You started another thing, and you now bring in
something. So it was mixed up issues.
Thereby not allowing us to focus on the real issues, which the Senate are not doing. You people start discussing things that do not help us as an ordinary Nigerian. We are growing. Yes. So I am using this opportunity to tell women, play active role. Respect the men, respect the women. And
thank you.
Stop using sexual harassment to pull somebody down. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Deborah from YouTube says, good evening all. Always a pleasure seeing Liborous. There's a serious deprogramming and reprogramming that is needed in the way kids are raised. Liborous, if we want to move forward, right, I mean, Loma just kind of sums it up that women are very relevant, but it's like we don't understand the power that we wield as women. In terms of numbers, we have the numbers. In terms of a lot of things, we have it. So how do we start to, focus on our strength and play down our emotions, play down our weaknesses, right? Focus on our strengths to get better representation in politics in Nigeria.
Let me tell you, I was having a conversation with my wife, and I told her, I said, you know, I see annually women will gather, do conference, and then they bring people to talk about these conferences, and then after some time it's becoming a social status thing, you know, for these conferences. I said,
you see why I love you, Liborous. This is why I love you. That's why I don't go for all those kind of conferences. It's a waste of my money and my time. It's a complete, because it's a show off. They will not be carrying, which handbag did you carry? Which jewelry are you wearing?
So
we lose focus.
And I said I told her, I said, at the end of the day, it takes away the meat of the issues. I said, I want to see a situation where you have those people that have gotten there, have like a few women from nowhere who ordinarily would not aspire to get to such position, not people who are even already working. And then mentor them. You mentor them. By the time one person mentors 5, those 5 in turn will mentor 5 each. I said, in 1 year, you would have produced super women who are, heads of organizations, who are in politics and doing so well. I said, but because at the end of the day, it boils down to those same topic of, seminars, everybody comes, just give talk, and everybody goes home. And then until the day you have money, and then you're able to, go to such places. We won't get out of this thing. It just becomes a debate. And that's why, for me, let me give you a joke. Somebody said he got married, and the wife was doing so well, more than the man. And, the woman had money, bought cars, and the man was also working, but the wife certainly was obviously better. His friend came one day and said, oh boy, do you know that your wife is using your luck to shine? This your woman is using your luck to shine. And the man said, well, I got married to this woman at the age of 30. All that time that I was using the luck for 30 years, I didn't rise above a particular space. Now that she took the luck and she's using it, I am enjoying, and we are both enjoying. In fact, she needs more of my love. She should use it. I don't care. Do you understand?
A confident man right there.
Exactly. That's the kind of mindset that the orientation that we should be given. That, look, don't be scared that your woman is doing well. Rather, encourage her. And then also, as a woman, when you are doing well, don't sit on top of your partner and rub it off. Look, we are good for nothing. It is, you will be committing the same offense that you criticize the man of doing. It should be a symbiotic relationship. When that happens, at the end of the day, it becomes, people would want to aspire. People would want to encourage women, not afraid that when they get there, they would push them down. But this fear, imagine the saying, some persons will say, oh, if a man can feed you for 1 year, for 10 years, nobody go here. The day a woman feed you for 2 weeks, the whole town go here.
Absolutely.
When we regurgitate such narrative, it becomes frightening for people to want to support the other sex to be more empowered than, their male counterpart. And then, so when a woman now comes out to contest, the fear that had been created culturally, traditionally,
will just be fully activated.
Will be there. Yes, will be fully activated. Look, women, once she gets there now, she wants to, So, and then, lastly, I must also say this, that you find such a situation where women also are not supporting women enough. I'm not saying they should blindly support, but encouragement, mentorship, creating platform for raising. Don't wait until you hear say trouble day, you can't rally women, let's go and protest. No. Create opportunity for them not to be trouble at all. So that they say, yes, you can build, you can galvanize, you can bring everybody together, and then push them into that field and let them know that even if the field is male-dominated, you can excel if only you strive to make a difference. Don't see yourself. If you watch, there was this movie, I've forgotten it, Demi Moore. She joined the Marine, and she said she does not want to be treated like a woman. See me as equal opportunity. She shaved her hair first and foremost. Because to her, these are distractions.
I remember that film, yeah.
But at the end of the day, she was able to excel and even do far better where men would not even try. So, in all and all, what we need to do is we need to, from childhood, begin to let people understand. This idea of the woman being the helper, I do not subscribe to it. That's my opinion, though. If the woman can aspire and get to the top, we know they do rat race. It's not a competition. If you have, bring. I bring. We put together. And together,
together we can build something even bigger and stronger and powerful.
Yes. And that's the way politics should be, and that's the way the opportunities should be. Look at the banking sector in Nigeria. There was a time it was male-dominated. But today, the women are rising, and gradually. And do you know the good part for me?
Yeah.
Nobody is hearing that the women are loading their leadership on others. Nobody's hearing that. all that you're hearing is that they are doing well, the banks are strong, and the banks are doing so well.
Absolutely.
But I want to encourage those women, not just to wait annually to attend women conference. They should also create opportunity to mentor younger women
Liborous,
to also rise.
That conversation, we're going to have it off air, because I can tell you for free, they are not ready to do that. Unfortunately, all of those conferences that you attend, it's a complete waste of your time, your money, and everything on your resources. It's a sad reality. You know, it's a very sad reality. If we could rally truly together, things will change. And it's more in the hands of the women.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Unfortunately,
things will change. Once
go ahead, we
quickly,
ran out of time.
The last one, objectifying. A woman goes into, a young girl walks into an office and she's sitting down seductively, for example. What is she saying? What statement is she making? I described it once. I called it open grazing and, what do you call it? Open grazing and close grazing. You know, if you have something to offer, you don't need seduction to get there.
Absolutely.
It is when you have nothing to offer. And for those people that have something to offer, don't think that you are not getting there because some few charlatans are using whatever you call it to rise. Those people, they rise, they cannot sustain the power to remain at the top.
Yeah.
But when you rise through your effort and hard work, you get there and you sustain it, and you write your name in gold in the sand of time, and that name will forever be mentioned and be difficult to erase. You know, so that for me, it's you know, the way it should be.
Thank you so much, Liborous. I mean, we've had a fantastic conversation. I'm hoping that more women would hear this. They would listen to this particular episode and start to do the right thing, because everything still lies with us women. If we want to build our relevance, it's in our hands. Thank you so much, Liborous. It says, in a society where men are truly confident, women are merely tolerated but valued. Are not merely tolerated, rather, but valued. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 8 p.m. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Nigeria, by extension Africa, battles a growing youthful population, and with little or no meaningful engagement, lives a ticking time bomb on our hands. We are a blessed continent with great wealth, both in people and material. Our focus on ways remains driving conversations that affects us all. Topics in the news, social concerns, politics, leadership, governance, empowerment, resource management, conflict management, finance, SME sustainability, technological innovation, food security, health, education, brain drain, our well-being, citizenship, and much more. Our goal is to continuously drive these conversations, keep them burning at the table to effect a positive change, both for our nation and continent. Ways, what are you saying, has a secret ingredient that completes the conversation every single episode, and that ingredient is you. Our past conversations shaped our yesterday. To shape our tomorrow, we must keep talking. So, I want to hear you. Be a part of our live conversations Mondays through Fridays. And let's all have our say.